What is going on, guys? Couple quick things before we hop right into this interview. Number one, this was filmed in 2017. So, needless to say, Afghanistan has changed quite a bit, and it is no longer safe to reveal who I'm interviewing, my friend's identity. So, her voice has been disguised, her face has been completely blurred out. Something also to note is halfway through the interview, you're going to see a jump cut because someone enters the room. And you're going to probably notice how on guard she is and how quickly she just feels threatened by that. And we removed that entire section from it. But just keep that in mind. Even though she felt it safe to reveal her identity, she was still very worried about other people in the room discussing some of these topics. Like I said, this was filmed in 2017. There are a million things I would change about this interview. The amount of growth that I've gone through, so much I've learned, so many better contacts in Afghanistan, and employees that I have been able to employ that are from Afghanistan. I would do this so different, but I felt the necessity of releasing this when I came across it. Times have changed. Really take note, take heed of her warnings, of what she feels as being a true feminist in Afghanistan. I think the last thing I'll say here before we dive in is I am praying for you. I do not know where my friend is and if she is safe as of now. I've been praying for you for years. If you come across this, I pray for you, and I hope you and your family are safe. So, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls around the world, enjoy.
I don't have any problem with that, with my name or with my picture. You can put my picture and my name. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, if you feel that it's safe and that you're able to, okay. But first, start off just share a little bit about who you are, how you were raised, and just kind of an introduction to you.
Okay. Just introducing myself. Just introducing.
Yes, ma'am.
Just introducing myself. I'm married from Afghanistan, Herat, Afghanistan, and I grew up here. I don't know.
You can say as much or as little as you want. There's no pressure, no stress. So, do you want to tell me a little bit about what it was like being a woman growing up in Afghanistan? Your experiences as well as just kind of the things you have seen and observed.
Well, being a woman in Afghanistan is not easy, since patriarchal rules and beliefs govern everywhere, from the government to the people. Even women themselves believe on the rules which are totally against them, because they train it like that from the childhood. And if a woman wants to stand for her rights, for her primary rights, for example, for working outside of the home, or divorcing from a man who doesn't understand her at all, or deciding for her marriage, she must make herself ready for many challenges. On the other hand, there are women who are working hard for stopping these beliefs and stopping this inequality in Afghanistan. And they try to change people's beliefs which are against women.
Okay. Am I able to ask what you mean by changing beliefs against women?
Yeah, for example, there are some inequality in the rules, and there are some inequality in the beliefs of people. But our people believe on that. For example, the traditions or something else which is depend to Afghan culture. Then there are some associations which women work hard on that to change people's beliefs. It's difficult to change the rules in a country, but it's somehow easier to start from the people to change their beliefs to stop this inequality. For example, there are people in Afghanistan who think for their girl it is just okay to have the primary education, just read and write. But they think different for their boys, and they give it a priority for their boys. Then these women try to change these beliefs, such beliefs like this.
Okay. Um, okay. And do you feel that this is slowly changing, or that people's mindset is moving towards more of allowing women to get higher education?
It's changing. Yeah, there are some factors which affect on people's belief nowadays. But it will. I think that it will last a lot. I mean, it's not easy to be changed. It is changing, but very slowly.
Okay.
And you said it was hard to change rules and hard to change laws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that more social rules that are hard to change, or do you mean more legal laws and things like that?
I mean that the legal laws are difficult to change, because it needs more efforts. It needs a very, very strong association, maybe feminist association, to work on that rules and submit it to the government for many times, then to tell the government may accept or may not accept that.
Okay. Um, so what do you think needs to happen? Um, it's not a secret that there's a lot of war that has really taken place in Afghanistan. So what do you think needs to happen to create very real change for the whole country as well as women in the country?
I think education is the solution. Because the more people educating, the less they are interested to our violence. And I believe that education can change people's paradigm toward many issues. And about creating a real positive change in Afghanistan, I think it is the people should do something for themselves, we the people. We must not just expect the government to create a miracle in a night for us. It's the government plus people which can create a real positive change in Afghanistan. And of course, unity is very important for our people.
Okay. Um, so when you say education, do you mean like university? Do you also mean social medias and other forms of media kind of to help educate as well?
For example, university education. The person who have university education or more than that, for example, have a master degree or more than that. definitely he or she will read many books beside that. And these readings and this education make people's aware about many issues. And it will help us. I think it really can help us.
Okay. Awesome. So what are you doing personally to help inspire people and to create change, both for women and for the country as a whole?
What I personally do, I try to raise people awareness, especially women, about the women rights. And I'm totally convinced that if a woman knows about her rights and stand for her rights, she could definitely can have a great impact on the progress of that society, since a conscious mother can bring up conscious and liberal children and release them in the society. So it has a direct effect. I mean, raising people awareness about women rights can have a great impact on progress of our society.
Okay. And recently there was a worldwide holiday that you actually informed me about, really inspiring people and bringing awareness for different injustices against women all around the world. Did you do anything special for that or any events for that?
Do you mean the November 25th, the day stop violence against women?
Yes.
Yeah, as I told you before, I'm a member of an association that we work for women here. On that day, we try to do something for raising people awareness about the situation. First, about the history of this 25th of November, why this day called for stopping violence against women. And then we try to raise people awareness, inform people about the situation of women in the world and also situation of women in the Afghanistan. The other thing that we did, we try to raise parents awareness about some information regarding children's sexual abuse. And someone is coming.
The posters that you sent me, do you mind if I put those up?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I will say about the posters. Do you mean?
Yeah, please, if you want to.
Yeah. And then we print some pictures and some slogan for on the banner for the publics, and we install them in the city, which is about about women education. One of them was about women education. Another one was about stopping some harassment about women in the street. And another one was about having a good behavior with women in the home. I mean, stopping violence in the home with women.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you
It was too long. This answer was too
no,
long.
no, that's like I said, I'm not Fox News, I'm not CNN, I don't restrict anything in that manner. So as long or as short as you want to answer is perfect. Because that's what this is all about, is an unfiltered look at people's perspective of culture, of real-time events and things that are happening right now that are very relevant to other people. So if you had a chance to speak to the entire world, pretending that you are on Fox News and you are on CNN, what would you say if you could be a voice for your people? what would you say to the whole world and to Afghanistan specifically?
I will say to whole world that I, as a young Afghan woman, I am tired of the war. I am tired of insecurity in Afghanistan. And I'm tired of not being able to create a clear vision for my future because I don't know what will happen in Afghanistan even tomorrow. And my only ambition and my only desire is peace in Afghanistan and all around the world.
Mm.
Yes, I will say this to all the world.
and and kind of going back to one of the other questions at the beginning is, do you feel in order to make peace around the world happen and real change, you said education was really important. So I just wanted to reiterate. Do you think that's the biggest way to cause that stability in Afghanistan is to really educate people?
It can be a great factor for stability in Afghanistan. There are many other factors beside that, but it can have a great impact, I think.
Okay. Um, okay. That you have shared with me in the past a couple of your beliefs and opinions. So this next question, if you don't know how or if it's hard to answer, I totally understand because it would be kind of difficult for me too in a lot of ways. Do you feel that um, do you feel that there will be peace found between the Christian faith and the Muslim faith, more so around the world in a time where there's so much violence from both sides, from all over the world. And I kind of learned through my travels that it's very easy because of America's media to point out the flaws and the problems that we've been having kind of recently in those topics that have really reached the news with different attacks. But I learned that everywhere is having attacks, massive attacks from both sides of the spectrum. Everywhere is, in a lot of ways, very unstable. So, do you think that there will be peace found between the two faiths? Because I may be wrong, but I believe they're the two most widely practiced religions in the entire world, and there's so much violence between the two of them from both Christians and Muslims. So, do you think that peace will be found, and in your opinion, how?
Absolutely, I think the peace can be built between these two faiths, but if the politics and politicians don't use the religion as a tool for achieving their goals. I think that people themselves, for example, Christians and Muslims, they themselves don't have any problem with each other if their mind is not changing by the politicians. I mean, indirectly. If we have violence now, Muslims have a problem with the Christian or vice versa. I think it is just the politics, and they use these tools for achieving their goals.
Okay. So you think that these politicians have an agenda behind the scenes rather
Of
than what they're saying?
course,
Okay.
for example, in India, there are many, many religions. For example, I don't know about 300 religion in India, but there is not any violence there. For example, they live with each other in peace. But here in Afghanistan, we have many challenges and many problems between two different types of Muslims. And I think there are hands behind that. Beyond of that, or maybe there are some agenda behind of these conflicts among, for example, different religions in the world.
You said that there were two different types of the Muslims that are fighting with each other as well as a lot of other people. Can you share a little bit about that or what you know? Just a little bit.
Mhm. It's somehow it somehow depends to security. If I want to say something about this,
That's okay.
before I say that I don't have any problem with my picture or with my name, if I want to speak about this issue, it is somehow sensitive in Afghanistan, I think.
Okay.
If we ignore from escape from this issue, I think is better.
Understand. Completely understand. Um, I again, safety first. I don't want for any reason, um, because this is all about educating people and it's all about exposing truth, in a lot of ways. And people's voices, that's what causes change, right? And an idea spread from one person to the next person to the next, and then it spreads like wildfire, and it just can't be stopped in so many ways. So, um, in your daily life, and this isn't one of the questions, I'm sorry, but in your kind of everyday life, um, is there a way that you're able to cause change and kind of slowly educate people one person at a time when you see them, maybe at the store or maybe at work? Um, does that make sense?
Yes, of course, do it. I do it always. I started from my family, from my cousins, and I extended to my colleagues, and I try to say some things that maybe they don't know about those issues, especially about women, as usual that I say. I tried to inform them about some issue, and it was really effective. And it sometimes I myself surprised about them because I hear some things from them that they didn't ever, they haven't ever tell them before, and I think it was really effective. Yeah.
Okay. Um, have you found with other people, for example, November 25th, did you find that the public was accepting of the posters and the things that you were saying, or did you find a lot of people upset about that?
Uh, it's it maybe not be effective as much as these people that I told you about it, but it can't be. It can. It may have lesser impact. I don't know what
Okay.
should I
Yeah.
say.
No, that's exactly what you say.
Lesser
Yeah,
impact.
yeah.
Okay.
Maybe for the first time they see those banners, for example, resist about those that slogans that are written on that banners or that brochures. But for the second time or for the third time, they see it from another media or for another place, then eventually they can impact on them. And for women, I think this banner can be very effective for women. For men, maybe they resist against them for the first, but for women, it's good. Yeah.
Okay. Um, so just kind of at the end of the interview, do you have anything that you would like to say or that you would like to share? Any stories or anything at all in particular about what you would have what advice you would have for other countries, like America or Europe, in some way?
I don't have any story, but the message that I have to the world is this, that if all people around the world imagine or see all countries as one country, all the world as one country, we can have a greater and a nicer world. I mean that if there are many malnutrition children in Africa, Afghanistan, or another country, it is everyone's responsibility to do something for these children. It's not just that country's citizens' responsibility to do something for those children. I mean that everyone should do something for some problems around the world.
Hmm. Okay. Well, I want to thank you so much for speaking and for sharing your opinion and your beliefs. Thank you.
I hope it works for you for your project. I hope it's good for you.
I think
Yes.
it's
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.